What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning in to the first episode of 2025. Happy New Year to you. Let's make 2025 a great year, not only for yourself personally, but for the channel. So, appreciate you all for 2024. I believe had our probably the most content on the channel last year. I'm gonna try to beat that this year for sure. So, this episode I want to talk about are the Patriots making a mistake with their decision with Drake Maye for the season finale against the Bills. Yeah, so what's going on? Welcome to the channel. So, yeah, I feel like this has been a story that probably wasn't a story, at least it shouldn't have been. I mean, I've been hearing, certain pundits talk about this, which I'll get into in a second, about Drake Maye, final game of the season. Obviously, the Patriots are out of it. There's no playoff implications of any kind. Only thing that's at stake, I guess, is draft positioning. The Patriots currently have the number one draft pick. A pretty enviable position to be in. But this is the tough part for these teams that are out of it. Do you prioritize draft position? Do you prioritize, winning, setting these standards, all that kind of stuff, especially for a first time head coach in Geronimo Mayo? Tough decision. So Geronimo Mayo came out and not basic, but he said in his press conference, Drake Maye's healthy. He's going to start, which to me, I kind of assumed that's what was going to happen, but it seemed like that's controversial, apparently, to some people. Because there are obviously, Patriots fans that want that number one pick, don't want to jeopardize it by, Drake Maye going out there playing well, getting a win, teams behind them, whether it's Titans, Giants, or whoever, lose and then jump ahead of them. To me, draft positioning, it's cool for debates and everything like that, but that's never really been on my mind. It really hasn't. Because I think another statement that Gerard Mayo made fits the way I feel about this Drake Maye situation. Gerard Mayo said, talking about Drake Maye, he's a competitor. He wants to play, and most importantly, he's still developing. That's what this season's been about. I don't care that it's week 18 and the season's over. Like, this is an opportunity for Drake Maye to go on the road. This game is up in Buffalo, I believe. Or is it? Yeah, it's up in Buffalo. I had to double check that. So we'll get to see Drake Maye first time up Orchard Park, how he deals with that environment. That's a learning tool for next season because he's going to have to do the same trip again next year. So I think it's the right decision. Win or lose, this season's been about Drake Maye. Now, if you are along the lines of Nick Wright, who, let's be honest, I don't necessarily quote him that often on here, but according to Nick Wright, the way the Patriots should do this is lose to Buffalo, get the number one pick, then sell off Drake Maye to the Titans or the Giants to get, I think he said to the Titans to get the number two pick, because the assumption is, according to Nick Wright, the Titans need a quarterback. So Drake Maye's not good enough for Nick Wright in New England, but he's good enough to ship off to Tennessee for Tennessee to not take a quarterback at 2 if in Nick Wright's scenario they need a quarterback that bad. So it might be an indictment from Nick Wright on this current quarterback class that's coming in. That's perfectly fine. because I share that as well. I've seen other people say that this class of quarterbacks may not be as good as some people think it's going to be. But to play out his scenario, the Patriots would draft basically 1 and 2, kind of do the Arizona thing, where when Arizona got C.J. Stroud, then Will Anderson, I think 2 picks later, take Travis Hunter, take Shadur Sanders. And then the kicker was you go get Deion Sanders to coach. Like, I don't want this to be an offseason full of stuff like that. One, does anybody know if Deion actually wants to be in the NFL? Like, we just heard Bill Belichick, who took the North Carolina job, and everybody's like, oh my God, what are you taking the North Carolina job for? Where Bill Belichick said he's kind of over the politics of the NFL. A guy that is a big personality like Deion, do you think he necessarily fits these politics that Bill Belichick is distancing himself from? That's the thing. I think Deion, the prospect of Deion, I think is fascinating to a lot of fan bases. But where will those fan bases be if that personality leads to a 6-win season his first year? Will there be the same cries for, replacement as we're hearing for Gerard Mayo, who's just about to finish his first season? Okay, maybe you give Deion a little bit of grace, right? The grace that you can't give Gerard Mayo, but you give it to Deion Sanders. Let's say the second season, the same bravado, the same personality. You're a 6-7 win team again. Then what? Then I'll tell you what happened. Then it'll be, well, how could the Crafts have brought this guy in? He's clearly just a college coach and all that. And I feel like, at least my perception is Deion probably doesn't want to deal with that. It seems like Deion's personality and everything fits the college scene because he can get the recruits to go wherever he is, whether it is Boulder or like a Florida State or whatever. I feel like he'll be able to get guys to follow him. So I don't think that's in play here. I think it's crazy. But, cycling back to the Drake Maye part of this, you play him if he's healthy because this draft is going to be all about supporting him. So, like Geronimo Mayo said, development is the key. So, just let him play the game. We'll see what happens. I'm sure some of you are like, what if he gets hurt? That's the risk of football. He could get hurt in the preseason. He could get hurt first game next season. There's always a risk. So I'm not wanting Geronimo Mayo, who in a lot of your eyes is coaching for his job, to just throw a game away for then you all to then use against him when you want to replace him. Which, even talking about that, I think it's crazy. But then it's like all these rumors about Mike Vrabel wanting the job and all this kind of stuff. Like, I don't look. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I do not want to replace Gerard Mayo when he wins 3 or potentially 4 games with basically the same roster that Belichick won 4 games with last year, and Belichick is a Hall of Fame coach. I think Gerard Mayo, I think Elliott Wolf, I think all these guys need time to prove whether or not they can do the job or not. I'm not saying you have to give them 4 or 5 years to do it. I think next year is when we start evaluating Gerard Mayo. Now, look, if that means missing out on Mike Vrabel, yeah. Would I hate that? Sure. But we have to give Gerard Mayo a legit shot. We do. For some of you, you may not care, but I just think with the optics of it, you bring in a new coach to then fire him a year later. That's the kind of stuff that poorly run teams do. So I don't think that's in the cards. Like, once again, if it was for Mike Vrabel, I like Vrabel a lot. Although I think it would be interesting because I feel like a lot of the pushback on the Gerard Mayo hiring was they wanted an offensive coach because that's the era that we're in, but they're willing to push Gerard Mayo out the door for another defensive coach in Mike Vrabel. Make it make sense? Because it doesn't make sense to me. But I guess to wrap all this up, I think what Geronimo Mayo and the Patriots are doing is the right thing. Let Drake Maye finish out the season. For a rookie campaign, there's been ups and downs. That's with every rookie. But he's given you reasons for hope next season. Now, once we get to the offseason, obviously I'll be back here with another video to talk what they need in the offseason. I guess my personal wish list, maybe, or at least the types of players they need to bring in, something like that. But for what it is right now, give me one last game of Drake Maye before we call this season quits. So that's all I got for you. Let me know what you think. Do you think the Patriots are making the right decision with Drake Maye in starting him, or would you rather see, I don't know, Joe Milton start? Which, by bringing up his name, I may have just opened a can of worms. So let me know in the comments section. Greatly appreciate it. So yeah, look, first video 2025 in the books. Feels good to be back. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done one of these solo videos. You've seen me on the channel when I'm live over on Integrity Sports Network, but just wanted to do one of these, kick off the year. And like I said, I plan on doing more content this year, last year. That's the plan. So greatly appreciate you. Make sure you share this out. Help the channel out greatly. Make sure to obviously look out for more videos to come. If you have seen, I believe, Facebook and YouTube, I put up a post kind of detailing changes to the channel. Hopefully you check that out. Hopefully you like the new logo that's in the background. And it should be, like, if you're also listening to this, appreciate you all as well. Happy New Year to you guys as well. You should see a new thumbnail with the channel. That's the new logo. Let me know what you think about that as well. I would love to hear from you. So make sure you check that out. Look at the changes to the channel. Basically, just check it out. You'll get it. So enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully your new year has gone up to a great start. I know it's been a little rough in terms of national news and stuff like that. Like, it's, don't need to deep dive into that too much, but so be safe. Please be safe out there. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.